Welcome to Work from the Inside Out, a podcast that highlights real-life stories, practical strategies, and best practices for transitioning your career from unhappiness and dissatisfaction to fulfillment, meaning, and joy. Now here is your host, career and executive coach, Tammy Guler-Loeb.
Hey everyone, I am delighted to introduce today's guest, Michael Thompson. Michael is a career coach, lecturer at the EAE Business School in Barcelona, Spain, and a strategic communication advisor to top business leaders worldwide. Growing up, his stutter and social anxiety kept him from pursuing his goals. By turning his supposed weaknesses into his greatest strengths, he developed a system of principles to help people express themselves more confidently and build meaningful relationships without sacrificing their nature. His work has appeared in numerous publications, including Fast Company, Insider, Forbes, Inc., MSN, and Apple News. His book, Shy by Design, 12 Timeless Principles to Quietly Stand Out, came out this past July 2024. And you can learn more about Michael at michaelthompson.art. And we'll give you all that information in the show notes as well. Please join me in welcoming Michael Thompson. Welcome, Michael.
Thanks for having me, Tammy.
It's great to have you here. And as you know, Michael, on Work from the Inside Out, we love to start with the early years. So take us back to those formative years and how they may or may not have informed where you are today.
They definitely informed where I am now. And I grew up shy, stuttering, and my father was in the military. So we moved around every couple of years, and that was kind of tough. I was always a kid who hated the teacher who said, please come up to the front and introduce yourself. Like that was like panic inducing.
Yeah.
Mr. Martin, my fifth grade teacher, was the only one who didn't do that. And I loved him immediately. But we moved around from Europe to the United States. And I was always around like a military base where everyone kind of projected an air of confidence, security, boldness. And I was kind of the exact opposite of that. So I was like the sensitive, quiet kid. And during family photos, I was the one like hiding behind my mom or dad's leg. And like a big part of like coming out of my shell as a kid was sports. Like soccer was kind of my way to make connections with people. But yeah, I was just kind of a scared, nervous kid and somebody who hated to be called upon in class. And the environment in my household, like not on purpose, obviously, just kind of put me a little bit back. And I felt like I had to be in the corner a little bit or in the shadows because I was around confident personas all the time.
So even within your family, that was the case as well?
In my book, I describe my dad as the kind of guy who's 6'5" when you close your eyes, but 5'11" when you open them. So he's just kind of, he doesn't like, he's a really good guy. He's like one of my closest friends now. He softened, I hardened a bit. But growing up, it was my brothers were, typical older brothers and got in trouble a lot. And the house was just hectic with three boys and a military dad. And my mom was kind of like me. She's kind of the peacemaker, tries to make a joke out of stuff to cut the tension a little bit.
So take us forward a little bit from there. Because it sounds like there were probably some very painful experiences, but somehow you managed to pull through, let's say. How did you manage to pull through and, let's say, come out of that, some of that shyness?
Yes, like it's interesting because I wanted to be seen like the shy kid. Like it's usually the thing that we want. It like is the thing that we pursue in order to help other people with. Since I didn't feel seen, a lot of my work today is helping people to feel seen and own their stories. Like because it's been my life journey essentially. But at the same time, when I was seen as a kid, I didn't like being seen because I didn't like to be the focus of attention.
Sure.
But at age, I think I was 23, all my friends in college were like pursuing jobs and traveling and doing things. And I was barbacking in Baltimore. And I took a job in sales, a straight commission job, as kind of my Mount Everest to get myself out into the world. So I was bombing interviews, and straight commission sales jobs have like there's a really low barrier to entry. You know, it's just like, here's leads, call them. If you make it, you kind of have a job. And I did that as just a way just to kind of like make a fool of myself at the moment to feel like less of one in the future. And just to get comfortable on the phone, talking to new people. I knew I needed stronger social skills, like, and it seemed like that was a pretty good way to like hate it for 90 days and be a little bit more confident on day 91.
How'd that go for you?
Pretty awful. Thanks for asking.
Well, I think it's a bold move to put yourself in that position to do that.
Yeah, I mean, back then, like this was 2001, 2002. And like this, like the internet existed, but it wasn't like it was common practice to like go like look for tips to be more confident or anything. Like my dad had some Dale Carnegie stuff around, but in general, the culture wasn't that yet, you know? And it was very much my first couple of days. I think it was my second or third day. I got really lucky in that we had to do role plays. And I was freaking out. Like, I'm not doing role play. Like, I'm not standing up in front of the group and doing a sales pitch. I have no idea what I'm doing. And my manager saw me like red faced. And he pulled me aside and was like, "What's up?" And I was like, "Well, I stutter. And this is like I took this job for X, Y, and Z." And he was like, "We're getting you out of here." And he put me in the corner of the sales pit with like a pile of dead leads. And he was like, "Get comfortable. Here's some scripts. I'll be in my office if you need anything." And I was like, "You're not going to sit with me or anything?" He was like, "If you're not comfortable, you're not going to come to work tomorrow." So the job, like your job is just get used to calling people, saying hi, saying what your name is. And I stutter on M's still today. And my name's Michael, and I was selling mortgages. It had like like everything, like boy named Sue curse, you know, from Johnny Cash. And, but that was like an electrify. I mean, he gave me the space for a couple of days a week just to kind of get my footing at work. And that's always been by letting me lead myself, like that kind of informed my leadership views going forward. And I always loved that. Like, I'm not sure what I'd be doing today if that didn't take place.
So that boss really treated you
kind of saw
both,
me. You know?
Well, he gave you, he was compassionate and kind of gave you some tough love in a way.
Yeah, what cool about it, like, and he was fast and like he was extroverted, like he was fast and loud with people who needed fast and loud and hard a little bit.
Yeah,
but he knew how to read the room and like was soft, quiet, and slow with others. And in the sales, like there's charismatic. Like I started out at 23, and I thought everyone in sales who was good, like was severely extroverted and charismatic.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. Like it's about 50-50, I would say, even. And like the top people in our office were more reserved, slow, methodical, strategic, good listeners. So I think he had experience saying, hey, like in some of the times their strongest hires they thought didn't work out at all. And the surprising ones were like, what's this kid doing here? Like actually had like a chip on their shoulder in a way of something to prove. So he was very non-judgmental about who can do what.
Wow. That must have been really helpful to you.
Yeah. Like within a year, I was a manager myself. I was training on new hires, top 10 of the company after my first calendar year. So it took me about 6 months to get a pipeline and a deal sold. But he was kind of he was my guy. Yeah.
So it was a mortgage company, you said, right?
Yeah.
How did you decide to go after a sales job in a mortgage company? I mean, what was pulling you in that direction?
It wasn't So I took a job out of college. I got a job finally at Wells Fargo as a data analyst, and I was awful at it. And I got let go like 9 months into it. I think I lost them more than they were paying me like 3 times in a row. And I'm not a numbers like spreadsheet person. It wasn't a good fit. I took it because it was the only job I got offered after like 30 or 40 interviews. And so I was kind of in the mortgage banking thing, like in Baltimore in the early 2000s, like mortgage sales was all over the place.
Yeah.
It was kind of a lot of people straight out of school, like enterprise rent-a-car management program or mortgage sales were like the
interesting.
thing.
So I want to back up for a moment. Actually, I'm curious. So you went to college. What did you study in college? Did you have an ambition to pursue a particular professional path, or what was your college experience in terms of a career ambition or anything around the?
So I have ADHD too, and between that and the stutter, I just wanted to get through college.
I can understand that for sure. Yeah.
And I studied political science just because it was kind of the easiest one, and we didn't have to do presentations.
Really?
We kind of, it was the one where a lot of my friends were doing it also, who wanted to be like pre-law. And for my kind of studying of story, like I like stories, I like a little bit of history, negotiation. I kind of like the traits of people that I wasn't good at. So I was kind of intrigued by like political maneuvering and this kind of stuff. But it was very much let me get through this 4 years. Yeah. And I got a minor in business like the last 18 months or something. But it was like I don't know if it's credits. Is that what they say? So maybe 20 credits to get the minor in business as just kind of something. Yeah.
But it sounds like you picked something that would be kind of the path of least resistance, but part of that least resistance, it still was something that interested you.
Yeah, I think I was thinking, like, if I could go back now, I think almost everybody should major in psychology and understand human beings. Looking back, that's what I would have done. Some kind of anthropology, psychology, something with people. But I was kind of scared, like I was still kind of scared at people at that point. And I hadn't gotten into, like my own confidence for that. So it was just my dad was military, it kind of like political science, just kind of, at 18, like I was 17 when I started college. So it's like, I didn't know like most of my friends didn't know what I wanted to do. And the normal path to is get a job at a safe company, like, and stay there for 50 years. Like that was the marching orders 25 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just kind of, you do what you're told almost, in a sense, like you're like, you're going to college to get this, to be able to do that.
Right. Yeah. No, I hear you loud. I see a lot of that, but you clearly turned a corner then when you met this boss in this mortgage company, and he gave you a shot and you took it.
Yeah, it was funny. My probably third month, I went to a seminar. Like we had to go to like a Zig Ziglar type seminar. It wasn't Zig Ziglar, but a really big name, and I forget who it was. But at the end of his talk, he turned and said something like, "Oh, and remember, if you can't get someone to answer the door or pick up the phone, start stuttering, as they'll see you as a human being instead of a salesperson." So that was kind of like that plus seeing other introverted or shy people do well in sales, like that started to flip the script in my head about my own worth. Right. So I was like, oh, well, maybe that's not a bad thing. And like my wife thought it was cute, like my stutter, like it's not the end of the world. Right.
Yeah.
But at 23, the 80s and 90s, like I got picked up, like the typical like the Hallmark after school special thing of the kid who's getting picked on, and by teachers also. So it was like it took some time, but that opened my eyes to like, maybe there's different ways to go about things. And a lot of my clients said that like half of them had bad experiences with the smooth talker in the past. So I was a nice change of like, whoa, like I didn't expect you listen, you take notes. Like, so I just did the basics really well, and I let them talk. And with sales, that's the thing. Like, ask the questions, listen, and just shut up. And if there's silence, stay quiet. Like, like just let them talk about the things that they want to accomplish, fears, goals, their childhood, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Just like shut up and listen.
And this is what introverts are great at. And when you're trying to sell mortgages, this is one of the most important decisions people make in their lives. So for people to feel heard and seen, it's a great...
slower. Yeah. Like, it's interesting, like a slower role with clients for a big purchase, like if you're in a shop and it's cell phones or like a fast, like something that's somebody entered a place for something.
Yeah.
Maybe it is more speed and, hey, high energy, like get them out the door, like in their bags packed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But with mortgage stuff, it's a slow burn. Like like we were doing refinances and purchases. So like minimum 30 to 45 day process.
Yeah. Yeah.
With 10 calls in between. So kind of the slow, softer route, and checking in, following up, leaving messages on Friday, even if there wasn't an update, just saying, hey, just wanting to let you know that there's not an update. Like, that does not mean bad news. It's just Friday afternoon kind of thing.
Right.
Like keeping them in the loop every step of the way didn't lead me to have to do hard sales on people.
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, it sounds like it really was it became kind of a natural fit for you. And then within a year, you became a manager.
Yeah, that was fun. Like, I probably 6 months. And then my calendar year. So I was running a team. I think we grew up to about 20 people. And then about a year into that, I was the corporate trainer had stepped down and there was a void. They had hired someone who was really good at sales, but didn't have sales experience. And I remember in my interview for manager, I called that out a bit. Like, they asked us, what would you change? And I was like, what? Like, this guy's great with sales. Like, I'm the opposite. I'm details. Right. And instead of just training for 2 weeks on sales skills and this kind of stuff, merging a little bit more of the back end processes, working up deals, because the new trainees were coming in to these teams, get on the phone, but not knowing what they're selling.
Oh, wow.
So I said that in the interview, and it's the reason I got promoted was because I actually said something that needed to get fixed. And I had the courage to say it in the meeting. And
that got you to the manager position.
Yeah. And then over time, that corporate trainer had stepped down and I stepped in for a bit. And then I was still doing my own deals. So this was over 6 years, and my memory is getting about as old as I feel some days. Yeah. But that was 6 years, probably. So and I love the coaching side, the high pressure side. I wasn't ready to be a manager at that age.
Yeah. So
I would have been I was juggling my own deals plus the team plus training, and I wasn't ready for all of that. Yeah. And, sometimes I was kind of at times I even became the manager I didn't want for myself, of kind of putting pressure on people or going for the sales numbers above all.
Yeah.
But I think that was just kind of stress of being in the environment and a sink or swing.
Well, and you don't know. I mean, how do you know how to be a manager if you've never been one and you didn't have any training in being a manager?
I had I had some people who were twice my age on the team.
Yeah.
And not all of them liked the fact that I was the young, shy, stuttering kid as their boss. My first day as manager, one of a man who I sat next to from day one on the job, said that he didn't want to be on my team because he didn't want me calling his clients if there were problems because of the stutter. He said this in the meeting. So I stormed out, went to Panera Bread in my car, sweared for a little bit, came back. And it was one of those moments too. It was good because the team was still there. Right. And I had to open up, I wasn't the traditional leader. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I needed to lean on them just as more than they needed my help.
Wow.
To get going. So I was kind of in a place of forced vulnerability, where I couldn't, just my shield was down. My mask was always kind of off. It was kind of obvious the struggle I had with sales or something.
Yeah.
And that was a really great thing. And because we worked together on our weaknesses, right? And a lot of the people on my sales team felt comfortable coming to me with their challenges and problems. So I think it really helps. Like, it's funny how all these things that we think are weaknesses and it can be at times, but yeah, it's funny how like other people see them differently.
Yeah. Well, there's always the element of other people's perceptions you don't have control over. And yet I think what you're describing is that other piece that I've heard more and more over the years, that a good leader does show up as vulnerable in some ways, or as real or authentic as some people say, right?
It's a balance though of being decisive and confident in some areas. And like, because you do need that and the certainty in your actions. And maybe that's when the job was a little bit tricky for me, is because I wasn't always certain.
Yeah.
And if you read anything in my book or my articles or anything, it's kind of the theme of like authentically uncertain. Like it's kind of like, it's funny. I was speaking with a woman from a family friend who worked with Obama and stuff in Capitol Hill. And she told me that phrase. Like, she was like, I'm authentically uncertain. And I think that's what makes me really smart. Is she does get different perspectives from people before making a decision. And she needs a push at times to make a decision. But that delaying isn't because she's worried about being wrong. It's more because she cares. So she wants to get it right. Like, and that's not like being a perfectionist, or like, there's good and bad to everything.
Sure.
But I always like that about like, hey, it's not like that's what makes me smart. Is before I did do something, I tried to learn as much as I could and seek out feedback from people who saw the world through a different lens.
Right.
But yeah, it's interesting the things I'm uncertain, that's a bad thing. And then you hear, oh no, that's what makes you smart. You know, it's kind of
well, of course you were in your 20s when you were being authentically uncertain. You might not have seen it as a strength necessarily back then.
No, scared. Yeah.
But at the same time, you were there for 6 years. And so clearly somebody there thought you were doing something right. And I'm presuming that you left on your own accord after 6 years.
I did. And this is where my story gets a little tricky for a couple of years. I took my new confidence and money I had made and went to Central America. And the goal was to flip properties. And that was going okay until so this was a 2009, like after the crash in 2008.
Yeah.
I had a business partner there who was a Costa Rican, and I was still in Baltimore. But I was going down like long weekends, vacations, and he was kind of handling everything. And I would refer over clients from the United States and Canada. And his dad changed the deed of the property I had on the beach to his own name with a pencil and pen, like a pencil and an eraser, and sold it out from under me. So the day I was expecting a check for $250,000, I get a phone call saying it's not coming. A couple of weeks later, I hear the real story of he had sold it to a guy for $30,000 in cash and 5 luxury cars. So I can only imagine, to kind of someone who lives a fine line between right and wrong. So I was up, like I was down. I started sales, went really up, and then kind of up and down in the sales job, like the twists and turns. And then I was pursuing like some dream thing of traveling and doing real estate somewhere else. And that brought me back to reality pretty quick. And
I would imagine so.
And
That's
straight
horrible.
to a bar for a couple of years. Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah. And you were still in Baltimore at that time, right?
I was back in Pennsylvania at that point. I was back where my parents live. I was staying probably about a half an hour from where my parents are in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. And that was for about 2 years. I worked in a bar. I hung out in a bar. I probably slept some nights in a bar. And finally, probably after 2 years of doing that, I took I think I had $3,000 left, and I bought a one-way ticket to Barcelona.
Really?
And the goal was to get a teaching certificate for English and kind of travel around the world. And 6 months into here, I'd lost 60 pounds. I'd gained like hanging out in the bars. like I love the teaching. So like it reminded me of like, hey, it's like the teaching, coaching. It wasn't my dream job as an English teacher, but I was like excited to get up each day. And 6 months in, I met my wife. I was giving a presentation negotiation seminar for the Catalan government.
Ah.
And she was one of the, like, there were 6 people in attendance and she was one of them.
Huh.
So I've been here, for 14 years since then. Yeah,
wow.
15 years.
So that was 14 years ago.
Yeah. It's funny. She like the first day during a break, one of the Catalan guys asked me, he was like, well, your blonde hair, blue eyes, like this, the Catalan Spanish women like must love you. And my wife was like, no. Like we like the tall, dark and handsome type. Like after a month, the seminar was 20 hours. It was like 4 hours a week for 5 weeks. Uh-huh. So I guess I kind of grew on her. By the end of the thing,
I would say
like
so.
we're going to lunch together by the end of it and kind of hanging out on the weekends.
So I want to go back for a moment to those couple of years in Pennsylvania working in the bar. Were you were just kind of licking your wounds or something?
Yeah, shattered. Yeah, it was like I went from up to broke.
Yeah,
kind of overnight, and it was the only thing. Yeah, it was one of those things where I was in no shape to work in an office or anything.
Yeah.
And just kind of my confidence went way down.
Sure. I could see that really being very traumatic. And then you buy this one-way ticket to Barcelona. I'm guessing that you did that you had that in the back of your mind for quite some time.
I think I did after college. I wanted to go teach English. I had friends who went to like Thailand and other places in Europe, and I didn't. But I also think, it was one of those things where I kind of wanted to, it's like I needed space. And in Barcelona, I was like, it wasn't like the change of scenery. It's a beautiful place. Yeah. And I got energy, but at the same time, nobody knew who I was. Nobody cared. Like I kind of had a chance to just kind of breathe again and think about like make enough to survive. And the thing of moving to a new country, I was an illegal immigrant for 6 months here. For a year, like close to 2 years until my wife and I got married. So like me working at the Catalan government, like I had to kind of schmooze really well to get paid cash for jobs. And I had to knock on doors. And I think I worked at like, I want to say 54 businesses in like the 4 years I was teaching English or something.
Wow.
So I was networking a lot. I took a job at a TEFL training, like a Teach English training center, like where I got my certification. I ended up helping my first summer. I worked security for it. So I asked the director, "Is like, you got anything for me?" And she was like, "Well, I can't pay you legally, but you can sit at the front desk and like let the students in, and I'll give you $500 a month or something." So I ended up helping a bunch of the students get jobs because I had a background in sales and I had time to investigate schools. So I was sending out emails to other academies and schools and stuff saying, "Hey, I work at this place. We have teachers. Are you looking for anybody?" Like, and I would help with CVs. And she hired me as like the career, like the CV person. I gave talks on how to land jobs in Barcelona. So all of it kind of snowballed. And by doing that, I kind of got first dibs on jobs coming in the door. Because I was the one kind of like kind of attracting them and dishing them out. So if there was something good, that became my magnet in a sense.
Wow.
And that turned out to be pretty smart. I don't think I planned any of that, but it kind of turned out that way.
Well, I think that's an important lesson I want people listening to this to hear, because that is so much about how people really do end up finding their way. You may start in a role doing something you never imagined you would do, like sitting and doing security, and you never know what that could lead to. And it's about showing up.
Yeah, that was, I look back at that. So like I was 30 or so at the time. And I love the fact that I had to start from zero and I was humbled. And anything I got, I had to earn. Was really a great lesson at 30 to learn again.
Yeah.
And I look back at that time now as kind of the most fun time of my career, like was
Really?
not knowing and just trying stuff. I ran soccer games in English for kids on the weekends. I did bar crawl, like I took people on bar crawls around the city.
Wow.
But I was always doing something. And then and over time, the helping of the career guidance, plus work, plus teaching negotiation presentation stuff, seminars, plus work, plus work, like teaching at God knows how many pharmaceutical companies where I was helping on presentations. And a lot of the work was just kind of like, some of the time it was like, go sit at a bar with 3 or 4 executives and speaking English for 2 hours. And I ended up like hearing about their problems and all of it kind of step by step. Once I started to, is like I'd become a coach, a consultant, by the time I was legal and I could work here, I became a coach because I was asked to be a coach.
Right.
I became a consultant because I was asked to be a consultant.
Right.
And then once I started to write online a couple of years afterwards, like that became like the gasoline for the stuff I was doing.
Yeah. How did you start with the writing? How did that get started?
I quit smoking and we had our first child and I couldn't leave the house.
That was not the answer I was expecting.
No, I don't have it. Yeah. The straight line thing. No, it was very much as soon as I started to write, I think because I had been observing my whole life and wanting to make connections, but struggling and noticing. So when I sat down to write, it was almost kind of intuitive. Like I had a gift for it.
Yeah.
And I look back and I was like, man, I did all those things for 15 years, sales, presentation, seminars, things that just made my palms drenched. It turns out that my thing is writing, but I wouldn't have anything to write about if I hadn't gone through, I write about reflective writing. Not you need to do this. It's more like, here's what I did. Here's how I screwed up. Here's what I learned. Here's how maybe you can apply it for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I need to have those stories of messing up, and I still try to get myself in trouble a little bit here and there.
Yeah. So you have more stories to tell, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like pray for a life of problems, I think is great advice.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's great. So 4 years in, you become legal.
Yeah.
Right. And so that opened up some other avenues for you?
2.5 years, I became legal. And it just kind of probably by year 4, I was coaching, consulting.
Okay.
When I was legal, I could get my own contracts at companies.
I see.
And the teaching turned to more coaching, consulting. And then people started to realize that hey, it's more that he's got more experience than just teaching kids English. He has a background in this kind of stuff. And presenting was a great way to start, because just by speaking, being a native English speaker from America, especially back 15 years ago, is a lot of UK, not a lot of legal Americans. And a lot of the business was in the United States.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of I had something that people wanted, plus my background combined.
Right.
So it was almost cheating in a bit, but that rolled into coaching in the United States, Australia, UK. It's kind of, but that all started slowly.
Yeah. And so there wasn't really, at that point, it wasn't like you were looking for a full-time role somewhere. You were really...
No, I kind of knew I wanted to be off on my own too at that point. I've kind of even in the sales job, it was commissioned to start, I've kind of always liked that more. And I kind of, with the, growing up military household, some teachers I didn't like in school who weren't the best people to me. I didn't love authority figures.
Yeah.
So self-employed, making my own way seemed better. And with kids once we had kids, my wife worked a 9 to 5.
I see. So it's good to have
and the
one
flexibility.
Person,
Kind of,
So take us forward from there. So you started coaching, consulting. It sort of was sprung out of the teaching and speaking. And now you've been in it for quite some time now. You've been doing a lot of writing. You've got this amazing book, Shy by Design, 12 Timeless Principles to Quietly Stand Out. I love that title. How did that come about for you to write the book?
The book. So I began, it was 2017. I started to write, and I think the third article I wrote got picked up by Fast Company. So I submitted it on a whim.
Wow.
And the editor got back like, this needs some work, but there's something here. And it was an article. It's like what I'd learned in 38 years of surrounding myself with confident people.
Love that.
And it was just kind of the basic listicle of 7 points that maybe we hear all the time, except it's like I learned pretty quickly that the packaging, like my story of growing up shy and stuttering and taking a sales job or what, really spoke to a lot of people pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like an authoritative self-help of you need to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And the what I learned approach. And probably right around that time in like Business Insider and Fast Company and Medium and these places wanted more personal stories with this stuff. Maybe 20 years ago, if you wrote an article on stuttering and being shy for a business magazine, you probably wouldn't get accepted. And the tide turned where they were looking for kind of people who had different ways. There's a lot of ways to go from A to B. Mm-hmm. And instead of like the straight line, more business writing, like mine was really kind of personal storytelling.
Right.
Combined with like, I try to make everything I write actionable, like really simple, like dial it down, like first step thing.
Right.
So you can start.
Right.
Yeah. And I started to write on Medium in probably 2017 also. And probably like a year into that the editors who were hired for Medium, like now work for like New York Times, LA Times. They asked me to send basically everything I wrote to them first for a publication called Forge. Mm-hmm. That was their professional development publication. Mm-hmm. And that I was getting a lot of 200,000 views on articles, 250,000 on some, and it was like Business Insider would syndicate from there, MSN, Apple News. And one of the articles I wrote about, I think it was the Shy Person's Guide to Winning Friends and Influencing People or something. My book agent had read it. And actually she reached out before that on an article I look at now. And I'm like, I can't believe anybody actually read that, let alone thought there was something there. But she messaged me saying something like, hey, I can tell you're a new writer, but you have the seed is what she said. And she didn't put any pressure on me to she was like, have you thought about a book? And it was a couple years after, I needed to learn how to tell better stories, collect more stories, start to write books with clients is one way I cheated to be able to write my own book is clients asked me what do you think of a book? And I helped them. So once it took about 2 or 3 years after I signed an agreement to write a book for me to actually be like, hey, I'm ready to do it.
Yeah. I was
writing about the topic.
You used the word cheated a few times. I just want to point that out. Being a coach, I can't help myself, Michael. You're not cheating.
No, being cheated, skip the line a bit. I learned how to write books because I got paid to help people write their books.
But we all learn. We all learn that way. That's how we learn. We all grow. Most people are more fully engaged. You know this. More people are fully engaged on the job when they're learning as they go along, right? You know, the only people we don't want to learn as they go along, or a couple of them, maybe our airline pilots and our physicians. We want them to know what they're doing before they start the job. But in general, I don't call that cheating.
I always look for
as you go along.
Yeah, it's like the easy button or the smart button. What can I do? It's I'm scared to write a book. I'm not good at writing a book. What can I do to have the confidence to write a book?
Right.
And it was I could and that's when I really started to help with writing coaching, storytelling, consulting.
Yeah.
And my clients got deals. I introduced them to my agents first, actually, and help them to get deals, write their books together. And as soon as I was done with theirs, I wrote my book in maybe 4 or 5 months. I just said, it's I needed it all there. And then once all the pins were up, really easy. Plus I had written so many stories about the topic on in articles. It was really easy to kind of stitch together.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the kind of advice I think a lot of us get when we're writing, to pull a lot of those ideas together that we've been coming up with for years and pull it together in a book and have it make sense in that way. I know that, your book has the 12 timeless principles to quietly stand out. Can you give us a few of them just to whet our appetite?
Yeah. Before I do, there's one really interesting thing, like to do hard things. A friend of mine, Nick Goki, was like, just wait until it's easy. And I think that that's really good advice sometimes. And we may have these huge aspirations or dreams, but maybe we're just not good enough yet. And it's not like a lack of confidence. It's more just like we need to turn some more corners and learn some new things in different alleyways. Yeah. But so the theme of the book is principles. I wanted it a timeless thing where it's advice that I've collected from good people and like my experiences in sales who helped me, my manager from this talk, to my dad, to my kids, my wife, to coworkers. And like, for me, it started like the first couple of chapters are kind of my like foundational principles of choose comfort over confidence is one thing, like understand your perceived weaknesses, like get to know yourself, right?
Yes.
Like that's the whole name of the game is taking the time to like inspect not just yourself, but society, like what society thinks is right or cool isn't always like, maybe that's just a little part of society. And there's a really big part of society that sees it a different way. Yeah. But taking the time, like writing the book, I asked childhood friends what I was like as a kid. And that's like a self-awareness thing that questions, like writing the book, I asked questions that was like just a massive reflection exercise. But questioning what is cool and what isn't, like is a really big one. And the comfort over confidence is something that I think a big leadership quality that's missing is like what my manager displayed of being able to put people at ease. Yeah. Is a massive quality that just kind of gets people comfortable. Like if people are comfortable, they're going to try stuff that's going to raise their confidence.
That's right.
And if they're not scared to try things, like that's how you gain confidence, not just by getting things right. You just like you gain it through trying, right or wrong. Like you may try. It's funny how you think of the word fail. It's like, it's so final, right? Yeah. And there's 10 steps and you did 9 right. Yeah. And one of them kind of threw it off. Yeah. Like that's succeeding in 9 areas, And
even the one that didn't go well, you learn from that. How is that? How is that necessarily a failure?
My same manager, he said something about like, I would screw up a call and he'd be like, well, did you get anything right? And I was like, yeah, lots of things. He's like, well, good. Go do more of those. Yeah. Like it's kind of, but that and like the book, the foundational ones, like that runs like is the undercurrent throughout is to treat your curiosity as your primary responsibility.
And
it's just the curiosity in yourself first off, like, and then other people, like when you're curious in yourself and you get comfortable in who you are, it's kind of like it extends into other people. Like you realize that you're an ocean full of all these things, like, and you realize your intricacies and your ups and downs and strengths and weaknesses, quote unquote. And you realize that other people are just as fast and you want to know their stories. And so like, I'm quiet, reserved, around my friends. I can be the opposite. I think everyone can in certain situations. Yeah. But I really like one-on-one, like networking is one person, not meeting new people. Right. This kind of like mentality in the book is very like strategic on getting to know the people who interest you.
Yeah. I also want to mention something that you and I talked about. We had a pre-interview chat that turned into more than a chat. It was a fuller discussion. You had said, stop trying to reinvent yourself.
Yeah. It's something we see a lot of, reinvention, like reinvent yourself in 6 months. Like, and I get it, but it was like the experience with moving to Spain helped too. Is like you can reinvent yourself all you want. But until you take the time to truly get to know yourself, it's kind of all for naught. Like, and you're going to be running on a cycle of just like trying to change something or adapt and it's, get to know you.
Right. It's like, what are you trying to reinvent? How about just figuring out who you are in the first place?
There's this story, like it may take me a minute with Joseph Campbell's hero's journey. It's about a Buddha that gets cut, that is it's in Thailand, like 1,000 years ago. Like, it's a gold Buddha, and the country is invaded, and the townspeople and the monks like cover the gold with cement and dirt and this kind of stuff, so it's not stolen. The invaders walk past it, like years pass, the invaders become occupiers, and the townspeople, like past the generations, forgot that there's gold, until like one day a monk sat on the statue and a piece of the cement like chipped off and he saw gold. And the lesson is like we all have gold underneath, and society kind of has a way of like putting cement or dirt on us, and it's the journey back. Like as soon as you see a chip of gold in yourself, you're just going to want to keep chipping away because it's so much fun. And it is that of seeing what's good in you. We have a lot of, we as human beings think of the bad stuff. Like, if I blow a presentation, I'm nervous for 10 more presentations. That's what I remember. Yeah. But forcing yourself to look for the gold is you don't need to reinvent yourself after you do that.
I love that. Oh my goodness. We could go on and on here. Michael, what is the best way for people to learn more about you and your work?
So Shy by Design is a pretty good, my name is Michael Thompson, and there's a lot of me on the internet. So Shy by Design, there's not that much. So the book is Shy by Design. My website is michaelthompson.art. My Substack I just started is Shy by Design.
Great.
The .art is because I can't afford a .com from the Michael Thompson who's had it for 30 years.
That's okay.
.art's about all that's left at this point. Yeah.
Well, it's a good one, right? So we'll have all of that in the show notes. And one final question, and I feel like we've already got a treasure trove of great advice from you, but I'm going to hit you up for one more.
I think it's life is long and you're allowed to go slow. It is just the more, it's interesting. I'm 46 now, and seeing the trajectory of my friends too over the last 25 years. And and we all kind of reach a point, like the ones that are kind of like happy in their careers had a moment where it's like, hey, it's like, I don't have to move so fast. It's like everything online is really fast and you have to keep up, but you don't have to do that. And there's a lot of different ways. If that's not you, trying to do that is I tried, when I was online and I got a little popular and I was like, I'm going to push it. And it was just I burned out really fast from it. But go slow, ask yourself questions. There's nothing better than sitting down and reflecting on your own journey. I think that we can learn everything we need to know about human behavior by studying ourselves, and going slow and enjoying it. My dad said something that is I was frustrated my lack of opportunities when I was maybe 30 or something, around the time of Central America. And he's like, if you're lucky, he's like, the odds are high that you're going to be working for 50 years, which means each year represents just 2% of your career. And then he added on, learn one new thing a year. All of that is going to compound. And I believe that is a fact now. Your relationships, your learnings, skills. Plus it's a lot more fun, by moving slowly and actually seeing, and noticing the small things in life.
And it's not 50 individual new learnings. Like you said, it is iterative, it is accumulative. And on that beautiful note, I want to thank you for being here today and for sharing your experiences and all the twists and turns. It was really informative and enjoyable to talk with you. So thank you, Michael.
Thank you for having me on. Damien, I think this, last time that we spoke was right before Thanksgiving. So it's right before Christmas now. So next year Same time, same place. Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for sticking around to the end of my interview with Michael Thompson. What is your key takeaway from our conversation? If you are interested in any of the resources mentioned in today's podcast, you can find them in the show notes on my website at tammygulerloeb.com/podcast. Just look for episode 268. And while you're there, you can also subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any episodes. Did you know that ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts can help this podcast reach more people? Please help me to inspire more people to move their careers in meaningful directions by clicking on the Apple Podcasts button on the website. Leave an honest rating and brief review. I'd be ever so grateful. Are you anticipating your next professional move? Check out my award-winning book, Work from the Inside Out. Break through 9 common obstacles and design a career that fulfills you. It's available through my website, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, independent bookstores, or your local library. You can also help sustain this podcast by buying me a cup of coffee at buymeacoffee.com/TammyGL. Since this podcast is self-funded, your support is acknowledged and appreciated. Thanks so much for listening, and remember, it's never too late or too impossible to increase your sense of fulfillment and satisfaction in your work and other meaningful activities. Let me know how it's going for you. I'd love to hear from you. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to the Work from the Inside Out podcast. For more information, you can find us at www.workfromtheinsideout.com.